This retention pond for a newer development by our high school had red-breasted mergansers in it during migration last year. I decided to try it again this year in mid-April, and sure enough, they had stopped there again. Likely these are part of the same family that used this stopover last year. Seems weird to find them in a pond, but I remember them digging this one out when they made the development. It's deeper than most, which they need as a diving duck. The pond is clear, which they need for seeing underwater. It's relatively long, which they need for a runway to take off safely since they are quite heavy. Red-breasted mergansers prefer salt water much more than common or hooded mergansers. Like many northerners, they are returning from wintering in the Gulf of Mexico. They are fast flyers, with some clocked at over 100 miles per hour. In winter, they hunt in groups, working together to drive fish toward the shallows before they grab them with their serrated bill. In migration, you can find 5 to 15. This salute to curtsy is their signature courtship maneuver. Last month, we looked at the hooded merganser's head throw crest fan and the golden-eyes head throw kick. Yellowlegs are also migrating through. This flooded farm field, also near our high school, has had several of these large shorebirds. I've probably seen 300 of them on a mud flat of Rice Lake near the Minnesota River in Eden Prairie. At nearby Pelican Lake, tree swallows have claimed the nest boxes. Their aggressiveness and aerial agility make them a formidable opponent for bluebirds trying to grab these boxes. Ruby-crowned kinglets usually won't nest this far south, but they are one of the earliest birds to move through in the spring. Great egrets and great blue herons have returned as well. A large part of this video will be contrasting their hunting styles. For watching this guy fly, I noticed another large white bird. The pelicans of Pelican Lake were back. When they fly close to the water, they are surfing the ground effect, floating on a cushion of high-pressure air between their wings and the water. Of course, pelicans also ride thermals with their huge wings that can rise as high as 10,000 feet. But mainly they draft on each other. When they are in formation, any shift from the front bird, say from flapping to gliding, ripples down the line through the flock like a stadium wave. There is almost no delay from bird to bird as they mimic each other to better draft. Red-winged blackbirds find safety feeding in fields in massive flocks because surely someone will see danger and give the signal to fly. In this case, the danger was the squeak of my brakes. Each spring, our pond is home to blue-winged teal and the great blue heron. There is a large heron rookery in Dayton on the Mississippi River. This guy makes the daily trip over to our pond to catch fish. Spend more time watching him fish this spring than I have watching television. The heron relies on patiently waiting for a fish to swim by. You can definitely tell when they have one in their sights. I've noticed they always shake after catching it in their large bill. I think this is partially to let the fish know it's over and to stun it so they can flip into their throat without it getting away. Our pond also has a male belted kingfisher who has to plunge from a tree 8 feet above the pond to get a fish. And of course the pond has wood ducks again. Usually we have multiple drakes in the spring, but the female is already chosen and will end up nesting on the far side of our pond. Soon our pond will be covered with algae and the 10 baby wood ducks will be plowing through it. Back to the flocks of red-winged blackbirds feeding in the field. I did notice one yellow-headed blackbird hopping around. Soon there will be many of these in the cattails, but this is the first of the year. Slow quality footage is the only rare bird in this video. The Hudsonian godwit travels from the tip of South America to the Arctic. Ones over the Atlantic do these 10,000 miles nonstop. These ones had the luxury of the Central Mississippi Flyway so they could get a snack at a mudflat along the way. Here we are at Central Park of Maple Grove, watching our first spotted sandpiper of the year on April 20th. This was also the day we saw our first brown thrasher. Last year we came here the same weekend and got both of these birds for the first time in 2025 as well. The following Saturday, we were at Woodlake Nature Center. The pond was busy with all the usual spring activity. The hooded merganser didn't really need to fan his crest, as he already had his mate. The grackles were in full iridescent glow. And the great egret had its green eye that it gets during breeding, and its lacy plumage, called egrets, which they are named for. Their hunting involves much more jumping around and erratic movements like the reddish egret. None of this patient stealth stuff like the great blue heron. But both birds extend their neck to double its length when fishing. After watching some more normal pond stuff, suddenly an osprey splashed into the water. I've always wanted to capture one emerging with a fish. I was so close. The reason it's so spectacular is they don't scoop and grab. They go fully underwater and then use their huge wings to take off. They have a 70% success rate, but I'm guessing it's even higher when the fish is orange. I wonder if someone put koi in here. I was really at this spot to see great horned owls. I happened to find 4 of them. This one is the dad, and here is the mom. And of course, Here are the two babies. They're still fuzzy, but they really are starting to get a lot of flight feathers. This is my third set of babies I've seen this spring, and it's interesting how they always sit right next to each other. The parents are usually a little higher up and a couple trees away. It took me a while to find these guys because they were on the exact opposite side of the pond from where great horns nested here last year. I seen a guy with a t-shirt that said, "The birds don't watch themselves." It's a good thing we're out here. Things are heating up. Thanks for watching. See you next time.